He put his entire weight into a brutal kick. The girl froze, watching in disbelief as the bullies got sent straight to the lobby. She was hyperventilating, but he just let out a long, exhausted sigh. Job done. He checked if she was okay, and she gave a shaky yes. Then he revealed the master plan. He recorded the whole beatdown as evidence. She started to thank him, but then her brain rebooted. Wait a minute. The video was 4 minutes long. She screamed at him for filming instead of helping. He panicked and claimed he was just a confused bystander. Back in class, Akira tries to reboot Ryou's brain, but the guy admits he forgot to install his operating system for the day. Akira screams loud enough to scare the wildlife outside, demanding he wake up before the teacher nukes them. Suddenly, the hallway gets a massive budget increase for special effects. Fujimoto Erika, the school's sun goddess, makes her entrance. The NPCs freeze in awe, whispering that she's a divine existence they aren't even allowed to look at. One fanboy decides this smile belongs to the world. He starts screaming to call a TV station and get her a contract immediately. But his friend kills the vibe instantly. He warns them to stop, because as long as that guy is around, resistance is meaningless. Meanwhile, the untouchable idol is nervously camping outside a classroom, clutching her notes like a lifeline. She blushes, hyping herself up to talk to the guy who is currently drooling on his desk. She slides the door open with a cheerful hello. The class goes absolutely feral, announcing to the world that Ryou has finally awakened. Ryou starts sweating bullets because he operates on a strict survival code. Live a quiet, boring life. Because standing out acts like a giant magnet for unwanted drama. He learned that lesson the hard way back in middle school, so he decided to retire and become a permanent background NPC. He even pulled a reverse high school debut just to look extra plain. But thanks to this cheerful girl, his stealth run is officially cooked. Erika, the school's top beauty, tries to summon him from his nap. He wakes up wondering what year it is. She calls him out for sleeping thanks to his buddy Shoji snitching on him immediately. She dumps a mountain of study gear on him, officially deleting his peaceful background life. She launches into a boring lecture about how his part-time job is tanking his grades. Right when she threatens him with detention, a camera shutter clicks from the shadows. Azuki Suzuki crashes the scene, tackling a random bystander just to make an entrance. She loudly announces she can't go home with Ryou, making it sound super sus. The whole class goes wild for the Queen of the Moon, while Yu just wants to fade into the floor. Erika tries to regain control, demanding he take this seriously. The guy is literally drooling on himself like a toddler. She panics, searching for a tissue to clean up his mess. Saki, the angel of the stars, swoops in with a handkerchief to save the day. Now he is surrounded by the school's holy trinity, and the jealousy in the room is thick enough to choke on. Yu realizes his plan to stay invisible is completely ruined as the mob prepares to send him to the lobby. They bailed to the one spot the mob couldn't reach. The roof was technically off limits, but Ryou was too tired to care about school policy. Erika felt bad for dragging him into the chaos. He just told her to watch her back next time. The squad was already there. They pulled a high IQ play, faking a meeting to shake the tail. Saki was just hyped for snacks. Ryou gave them props for the stealth, but his priority was the black hole in his stomach. He hadn't eaten since dawn. Time to feast. Azuki unveiled the main event, a homemade bento, courtesy of Erika. It looked dangerous for his cholesterol, but they didn't hesitate. Ryou took the first bite, and the flavor hit him like a truck. He gave it a perfect score, and Erika didn't know how to handle the compliment. Once the hunger settled, the roasting began. Ryou promised to pay her back, but Erika had a different observation. She stared into his soul and told him he radiated background character energy, a total Group B nobody. Yu took the L with a smile, but then she remembered something else. Saki dropped a tactical nuke. She figured out Yu was the one who saved Erika that day. Ryou froze. He frantically signaled for her to shut it before the secret got out. Saki realized she messed up, but she had to pivot to the real issue. The rumors were getting nasty. People were talking trash about their weird pairing. Saki offered to hunt down the haters, but Ryou cut her off. He wasn't letting her get her hands dirty. He claimed the rumors didn't bother him. Total waste of energy. He played the ultimate card. They were just friends, so the haters could stay mad. Erika froze. That label definitely stung, but deep down, she knew the status quo was on borrowed time. Nomura gets right in his face, demanding to know if he is the famous Sakuragi. Yu admits it, but hits him with the ultimate disrespect. "Who are you?" Nomura throws his head back, laughing like it is a bad joke. Then he snaps. He is furious that his crush likes a nobody who does not even know his name. He predicts Erika will dump Ryou any second now. Yu watches him leave, barely stifling a yawn. Erika panics, checking for emotional damage, but Ryou ignores the drama, identifying the guy as a kendo scrub. He asks for the real stats. How many guys have tried their luck? She starts counting, running out of fingers. 13 confessions in 48 hours. The class treats it like a high score. Saki warns her to stay out of dark corners, but Erika knows the geography is not the problem. Even with Yu playing bodyguard, the fan club is getting bold. She knows she has to come clean, but the conversation is going to be awkward. She slams her hands down, cracking the desk. She screams that the slander against Ryu is out of control. Her friend points out the irony. Ryu actually enjoys being called an NPC. The whole room stares, begging her to lower the volume. Yu sits alone, decoding the enemy strategy. They bully him to check for a reaction, confirming he is not a threat. He types a text to end the charade, then stops. No digital cop-outs. He resolves to tell her the truth in person. Suddenly, Erika's voice cuts through the air. Erika blocks the exit like a final boss. She locks onto her target. Yor starts sweating bullets. She marches straight at him, plants her feet, and hits him with the silent treatment. She slams her bag down, ordering him to quit hiding. Says they should have done this from the start. Yu braces for impact, but she flips the script. Demands they eat lunch together, right here. Yu apologizes for making her ask first. The classroom audience goes absolutely feral. Someone even brought tactical binoculars. Nobody wants to miss the tea. The next day, the vibes finally chill out. Until a classmate drags Erika to soccer practice. She calls out to him, giving him one last opening. Yu steps up and asks to walk her home. Erika bounces, leaving Ryu to catch some heavy sleep. He tells Akira to be his alarm clock since he is checking out. Akira agrees, accepting his fate as the designated babysitter. Makabe shows up, a senior delinquent with a bad attitude and a worse haircut. He is shaking down a junior, but spots fresh meat sleeping in the back. Ryou is out cold. Makabe stalks over, looking for a reason to snap. He knocks on the desk. Then he bangs it harder, demanding attention. Shoji steps in to block the heat. He swears Ryou sleeps like the dead and begs the senior to walk away. Makabe is not listening. He just stares him down with crazy eyes. He smirks, realizing he has to do things the hard way. He struts across the room to get a running start. The tension spikes. Shoji can only watch the train wreck happen. Makabe charges in, eyes locked on the target. The class freezes in horror. They know this is going to hurt. He screams he has a better way to wake people up. He launches a full force kick at the desk, but physics glitches out. The impact backfires, launching Makabe across the room in a supersonic spin cycle while Ryou just mumbles in his sleep. He slams into the wall with explosive force. The whole class jumps out of their skin. One guy stands up, sweating bullets. Ryou finally lifts his head, totally oblivious. Even the girl in the back is confused by the sudden chaos. Yu panics, sliding the door open to check the damage. He rushes to the body, asking if he is alive. Game over. Makabe is sent to the lobby, eyes spinning like a slot machine. Yu wipes his brow, relieved. He thought he heard a girl. Shoji screams from the sidelines, losing his mind at the misplaced priorities. The committee finally wrapped up the soccer plans, practically patting themselves on the back. But Erika didn't care about the details. She was just giddy about cheering for Ryou. Back in class, the vibe shifted instantly. Sakuragi's desk was totally empty. Rumors were flying. He didn't skip. He was dragged out by force, panic mode engaged. Half the class wanted to snitch, the other half was frozen in fear. This wasn't just a fistfight. The kidnappers brought a weapon. Meanwhile, Suzuki was stuck in a wholesome slice-of-life anime, just tutoring her friends and being a model student. She was actually hyped to study, laughing about finally getting the faculty off her back. Then, a scream tore through the air. Someone was losing it in the hallway. 3 thugs were forcefully inviting Sakuragi to hang out. And by hang out, I mean get wrecked. From the safety of the classroom, a girl watched the kidnapping play out. Dead silent. She didn't help. She just glared, calling the whole situation a massive eyesore. The leader got right in his grill, swearing Ryu pulled a fast one back in the day. He claimed they just wanted a friendly little chat, which is obviously thug code for a massive beatdown. Yu grabbed a soccer ball, and the guy panicked like it was a live grenade. But Ryu just stared at him, explaining it was literally sports equipment. The bully paused, distracted by the soccer team practicing outside. He turned back with a nasty grin, desperate to remind Ryu he was bottom tier. Yu just laughed in his face. He suggested they move the party somewhere with 0 witnesses. Meanwhile, the silent girl was prowling the empty corridors alone. She ignored the background noise of the extras, marching to her own beat. Yu spotted her instantly. She locked eyes with him, sharp and focused. He slid past her with a quick greeting, and immediately started plotting their next move. The class froze as Ryu flashed the loot, the keys to the forbidden rooftop. Instant chaos. One guy went full goblin mode with excitement. The herd stampeded up the stairs, ignoring the nerd begging them to follow the rules. At the summit, Ryu was just chilling, juggling a soccer ball like he didn't have a care in the world. The stalkers were baffled. They expected him to bolt, not set up a picnic. But the tailing squad was twitchy, warning each other about a potential ambush. They scanned the corners for cameras, expecting a jump scare at any second. They swallowed their fear, moved in, and finally cracked the hatch open. You watched them walk right into his web. No traps needed. You chilled on the roof until the 3 stooges finally rolled up. They asked if he was dating Erica. He didn't even blink. Yup. Makabe was ready to throw hands. He said they had a massive score to settle with her. You ignored the tough guy act. He clocked the nasty bruising on Makabe's hip. He knew that shape. Wooden sword marks. He asked if Erica was the one who folded him like laundry. Makabe claimed the whole school wanted a piece of her, but they were all too scared to actually try it. Then he flipped the script. He got right in Ryu's face and demanded friendship. The goons even huddled up to prove they were besties. It was pathetic. Makabe gave him an out. He could walk away, but freedom had a price tag. If he wanted them off his back, he had to agree to one thing. They called it the rescue plan. He had to lead Erica straight into their trap. Ryu figured it out. They knew Erica would never listen to trash mobs like them, but she trusted Ryu. She would follow him anywhere. Once the job was done, they promised to ghost Ryu forever. Silence. Ryu turned his back and started walking. The goons grinned. They thought he learned his lesson about messing with that girl. They watched him leave and called him a spineless coward. Laughter echoed across the roof. But Ryu? He was just getting started. The vibe on the roof shifted instantly. Yu stood by the door, blocking their only exit like a raid boss. He adjusted his frames and admitted he messed up. Not because he was scared, but because he fell asleep. He glared at the group, calling them literal garbage. Then, he invited them to come get a free lesson in pain. The squad just froze, trying to process where this guy suddenly found a backbone. Down in the courtyard, a stray ball rolled into the mix. The bullies started cackling, thinking he was an easy target. Big mistake. He turned the 3-on-1 into a clown show, weaving through their clumsy attacks without even breaking a sweat. Just another quiet day in the city of delinquents. But the victory lap was cut short when Erica Fujimoto bounced in, looking for Ryu. The poor guy inside started sweating bullets, terrified to explain where Ryu actually went. When she heard he got dragged off, she nearly blew a gasket. The bystanders quickly clarified that even while getting snatched, Yu left one specific order. He told her to wait. So she shut up and accepted the mission. The rest of the class was still losing their minds over the kidnapping. They couldn't believe she was this calm, but she just shrugged it off. Then, she dropped the ultimate trump card. If Ryu says it's fine, it's fine. That level of blind faith hit the crowd right in the feels. She planted her feet, ready to wait until the heat death of the universe. The team absolutely roasted his skills, but he just took the L with a smile. A mystery girl was watching the whole cringe fest from the sidelines. He tried to dip, but a wild senpai suddenly spawned in the hallway. He slid the door open, asking why the party was still going way past curfew. The squad panicked, screaming at him to abort mission before he blew their cover. Erica was losing it, convinced he had been sent to the lobby by some bullies. He explained he just ghosted soccer practice. That is basically a felony around here. She wasn't buying the innocent act. She stared daggers through his soul. He smoothed it over with a smile and an invite home. That move works every time. They bonded over batting practice, just happy they didn't get deleted. But they still regretted not stopping the madness sooner. Back in class, the squad tried to chill with a game of Old Maid, but the vibes died instantly when the Joker showed up. Someone just took a massive L. Erika ignored the game to grill Ryou, roasting him for risking his life over soccer. Then Suzuki dropped a tactical nuke of a question. Wait, are you actually famous? You started sweating bullets. He capped immediately, swearing it was just a coincidence. The interrogation paused as the game reached critical mass. You locked in, gamer mode activated, and he slammed his next move with the force of a supernova. He opens with a savage high kick, sending the bald guy straight to the lobby. Next, he introduces the blonde dude to the soccer ball, smashing it point blank into his face. The impact crumples his nose. A follow-up volley launches him off the roof. The last guy freezes, realizing he is completely out of his league. Game over. The ball bounces to a stop, leaving the entire squad groaning on the floor. The girl looks up, terrified, asking who the hell he actually is. He doesn't give a backstory, he just demands their entire inventory. Right now. But he isn't just taking cash. He lines up their student IDs like trophies, and snaps some 4K blackmail material. Now he owns their souls. He asks the leader if they want a rematch. The guy sweats bullets, surrendering instantly. Yu grins. Now that he has established the pecking order, it is time to move. Back in class, Ryou is racking his brain trying to figure out where those wounds came from. Erika crashes the brooding session, totally shook to see an actual smile on his face. Then, she drops the bomb. The sports tournament is here, and she expects him out on the field. She swears she'll be his personal cheerleader, completely ignoring the actual committee work she's supposed to be doing. You start sweating bullets. He realizes he only signed up as a desperate excuse, but Erika thinks he's playing 4D chess. She figures he's using the big stage to nuke the bad rumors. She assumes yesterday's drama was just another calculated move in his master plan. He can't bring himself to tell her he is totally winging it. When she asks for his position, he admits he got stuck playing goalkeeper. She gives him a direct order, protect the goal no matter what. The pressure hits him like a truck, but he locks in and accepts the challenge. The girls love the confidence, while the guys in the back are absolutely seething with jealousy. Erika was out cold trying to catch some sleep, but her brain was still running drills, obsessing over strategy notes. The pressure turned into a cold sweat until she snapped awake, screaming for Ryou. In the nightmare, she was a total mess, apologizing because she couldn't catch to save her life. The barrage didn't stop. Something rushed in fast. She braced for impact, but Ryou intercepted the ball. He smirked, reminding her that goalkeepers have the best hands in the game. And just like that, the panic melted away. The next morning, you got hit with a lunchbox heavy enough to be a dumbbell. Erika insisted he needed the calories, totally ignoring the classmates whispering that Ryou had the reflexes of a sloth. One girl admitted she'd never even seen him play, but the rumor mill was already spinning out of control. Erika switched to full coach mode, getting right in his face and demanding he give 110%. She even ordered him to score the winning goal, completely forgetting that his job is literally to stop the ball. Ryou flipped the script on her, bringing up the girls' volleyball tournament. The math finally hit her. If she won, she would be locked in the gym for the next round. It finally clicked. She couldn't be on the sidelines cheering him on. She actually tried to convince herself that losing was a good strategy, just so she could free up her schedule. Yu wasn't about to let her throw the game just to play cheerleader. They made a pact instead. No throwing games, just straight victories across the board. The campus was buzzing with pre-game jitters. Yu and Akira landed on rival teams, agreeing to keep the vibes chill, at least for now. That peace didn't last 5 seconds. A shout pierced the air, hunting for Sakura. Satu Takeshi stepped up, looking like he was ready to commit a felony with that soccer ball. The soccer captain meant business. He grilled Ryou on his position immediately. Ryou didn't hide it, admitting he is a goalkeeper. Satu smirked. That was the best news he had heard all day. He planted his foot and swung with lethal force. The students nearby flinched. The shot screamed past Ryou, nearly tearing the net off the goal. Satu frowned. You didn't even blink. So he dropped the lure. The soccer club had put a bounty on Ryou's head. They hated his campus flirting antics and they were going to settle the score in the finals. Over on the volleyball court, the vibe was lethal. She hammered the spike past the blockers. Pure adrenaline washed over the team. Just like that, tie game. Next point decides fate. She dug deep for the receive. Gravity did the rest. Game set. The Azurics clutched the win. The losers took the L with grace, told them to go win the whole thing. Kuji was waiting in the wings. Erika spotted him immediately, fishing for praise. He admitted he only caught the end, but a win is a win. Her priority shifted instantly. "Where's you?" Kuji confirmed the boy is heading to the finals. Erika celebrated, conveniently ignoring the massive problem he just brought up. The trio sprinted into the gym, convinced they nailed the timing, but the vibe was off. The losers were laughing, and the finals kicked off without them. Outside, a ball smashed into the fence like a cannonball. The players scrambled like rats. Four Eyes watched, narrowing his gaze. He realized he was cooked. His legs gave out and his confidence crumbled. A shadow loomed over the exhausted player. Mr. Sunglasses stood there, radiating pure arrogance. Erika arrived just in time to see the tension snap. She found Ryou, but he was glued to the bench. She asked what the deal was. Maybe he was just resting? Nope. His teammate dropped the bomb. You hadn't played a single second. The awkward silence was loud. The team knew Erika was only there for him, so the starters roasted him. They told Sakuragi to stay trash while they showed off for the girl. Erika tried to pull rank and demanded he get playtime, but Ryou refused to move. Her heart sank instantly. He sighed and told her to just watch the game. The team fought on without him. She swallowed her pride and agreed. She yelled out a generic, "Good luck," to the squad. The simps instantly went Super Saiyan, fueled by female attention. You turned away. He asked the girls if they had lunch yet. Then he dragged them away to eat, dodging the drama completely. They found a spot and deployed the tactical picnic blanket. Check that smirk. This isn't a meal, it's a race. Target acquired, the bento box. They scrambled for loot like it was Black Friday. The girls stuffed their faces and the mood was chill. Then Erika asked for a match report. The boys stayed quiet, waiting for the lie. Saki flexed hard, claiming it was a massive success. The benchwarmers called cap instantly. They reminded her they only scored 1 point. Awkward. Then, the carb crash hit. They tried to fight the urge to nap. Saki already logged out of the server, snoozing peacefully. Erika screamed at her sleeping body. The other girls decided to rest too, right on top of Ryou. Saki saw the fan service and panicked. The audacity. They ignored her and drifted off to dreamland. She dove in to break up the cuddle puddle. It didn't work. The wind blew, and soon Ryou was buried under a pile of sleeping waifus. Then his alarm screamed, signaling the end of the harem dream. The gym crowd goes absolutely feral, chanting for a sub like it's a public execution. His teammates don't wait, dragging the poor guy off the court like a sack of potatoes. Erika bounces back looking suspiciously refreshed. Ryou realizes Suzuki rigged the whole thing, but the girls just hit a victory pose to seal the deal. Suddenly, Ryu's spider sense tingles as a soccer ball comes screaming at his head. It misses by an inch, smashing into the wall with enough force to delete his account. He looks downfield to see who fired the shot, spotting a figure in the dust. Yu grips the ball, ready to throw hands and demanding answers. It's Satu, standing there with main villain energy and a grudge. He smirks, declaring he's been waiting for this 1v1 showdown. Later, Erika brushes off the attempt to game end her, claiming she's totally fine. She tries to slide in a cute lunch date invite, but Ryou is already sprinting away. He's stuck in the race, sweating buckets while she screams his name from the sidelines. Sakuragi slid the mesh bib over his head, locking in for practice. He was totally oblivious to Satu lurking in the background, grinning like a cartoon villain. Satu stepped up and called him out. The waiting game was over, but Satu was already taking L's. Moments ago, he tried to recruit Erika as his personal cheerleader. She shut him down cold. Sorry, pal. She's got a movie date. She left him standing in the dust. He clenched his fist, realizing he was losing the game of love too. So naturally, he channeled that rejection into pure rage. Revenge time. He pointed straight at his rival. He was going to crush him in this tournament. On the bench, the girls watched the soap opera unfold. Azuki decided to stir the pot. She teased Erika about Ryou playing hero. Erika went into full panic mode. Takeshi's pride was absolutely cooked. Getting blocked one-handed is a career-ending embarrassment, and the pity from the sidelines only made it worse. He tried to recover his clout immediately. The junior star launched a nuke at the target board to prove he's still the alpha. You didn't even blink. The class slacker finally woke up and chose violence. He whiffed his own counterattack and played it cool. Too bad. But the sweat gave him away. He knew he messed up the trajectory. Then came the reality check. If that wild shot had connected, Erika would have been deleted from the census. The crowd held their breath. 10 minutes left on the clock. Dead tie. Next goal wins it all. Ryou's squad pushed hard, but the defense chose violence. They bodied the striker. No whistle, just laughter. Then the team started glitching out like bad NPCs. First guy sprained an ankle, tried to walk it off, failed. Second guy's legs just quit. They were dropping like flies. It got absolutely ridiculous. Sand in the eye? Tripping on weeds? Are you kidding me? The entire roster got deleted by bad luck. Ryou was the last man standing. Even the final defender got a tummy ache. Satu saw the opening. 7 minutes left. He grinned, wound up, and unleashed a cannon right at the keeper. The ball screamed through the air. You tracked the arc. High, he relaxed. Thought it would hit the bar. But Satu wasn't done. He rushed the rebound instantly. You froze. A second shot ripped past the post. The girls on the sideline were terrified. Satu bullied his way through the ghosts of Ryou's team. He wasn't just playing, he was hunting. You watched the carnage. Realized the truth. Satu was toying with him, mocking the 1v11. You thought about going solo, but the pressure was crushing. The enemy team circled him like sharks. Activated toxic voice chat, roasting him for being a goalie, telling him to uninstall, trying to break his mental before the final whistle. You finally snapped. Screamed at the fallen traitors. Did you even try? And their excuse? They just wanted to look cool for the girls. Absolutely pathetic. While Ryou was losing his mind, the rest of the class had already thrown in the towel. Azuki wasn't having it, so she forced Erika to step up and fix the vibe. Erika fumbled out a generic pep talk, begging them to please try their best. Surprisingly, it worked. The boys practically wept with gratitude. Then Azuki whispered the real bait. She promised that winners would get remembered by Erika, along with a good word to the teacher. That was it. They exploded with motivation. These guys are just way too easy to manipulate. The team immediately got cocky, telling Sakuragi they didn't need him anymore. Satu grinned, lining up the game-winning shot, but he forgot to check reality. Sakuragi was already chilling in the goal with the ball. He wound up to throw, but Erika screamed to stop. She demanded a goal kick to cover way more distance. She told him to launch that thing into actual orbit. Sakuragi obeyed, putting his entire soul into the swing. The crowd watched in slow motion as the ball eclipsed the sun. The players froze, watching it disappear. One guy laughed, thinking Sakuragi whiffed. But the ball wasn't done. It came screaming back down like a meteor. The enemy keeper looked up, totally baffled, and got absolutely deleted, straight into the back of the net. Sakuragi stared, realizing he just broke the laws of physics. Erika couldn't believe her eyes. He just scored a goal from his own box.